Good evening.
What's up everyone, my name is Augustine, I'm a musician and a massive fan of the Beatles, and in today's video we're gonna visit a very special flat here in London. I'm talking about 34 Montagu Square, and I say it's very special because it was the home of a lot of people you know, including John Lennon, Ringo Starr and Jimi Hendrix. So let's go! So we are here in Marylebone, a very nice neighborhood in central London. And we are actually very close to 34 Montague Square, so we're gonna be there very soon. So we are here outside 34 Montague Square in Marylebone. It's a really nice place to live. There we can see the Swedish embassy, and over there we can see the blue plaque that says John Lennon, musician and songwriter, lived here in 1968. This blue plaque there was unveiled by Yoko Ono in 2010, and I actually found a little video of that.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I love you very much.
Montague Square was built between 1810 and 1815, and it was named after Elizabeth Montagu, a 17th century social reformer and patron of the arts. The first Beatle to live here was actually Ringo Starr. He moved in early 1965 with his wife Maureen. They got married and it was their first home together. But they didn't live here for too long because after their son was born, they moved to Weybridge, about 40 miles outside of London, very close to where John Lennon and George Harrison used to live at that time.
Do you want to buy a house somewhere?
Well, I don't know.
Yes, we must buy a house.
Hello?
So Paul McCartney remained the only Beatle to stay in London. At that time he was staying with his girlfriend Jane Asher at her parents' house, and then he moved to his house at 7 Cavendish Avenue, and I actually made a video visiting Paul's house, so if you want to watch it I'm going to leave it somewhere here and also the link there in the description. Now I'm going to show you the map, because if you're not from London then you probably don't realize how everything is so close. Like for example, here's 34 Montague Square, but we're also very close to 7 Cavendish Avenue, Paul's house, and we're also very close to Abbey Road Studios here in St. John's Wood. We're also very close to my house, but I'm not going to show you where that is.
Yes. Okay.
There's a really nice picture taken right here at the doorstep of Paul and Ringo waiting for John Lennon's Rolls Royce to pick them up and go to Buckingham Palace to get their MBEs from the Queen. The picture was taken on the 26th of October 1965. After Ringo moved out, Paul set up a recording studio here in the basement. The studio didn't last for too long, but Paul worked on several compositions, including parts of Eleanor Rigby, and he recorded a demo version of I'm Looking Through You. After that, Ringo lent the flat to Chas Chandler, the former bassist of The Animals, and he moved in December 1966 with Jimi Hendrix and their girlfriends. He discovered Jimi Hendrix playing at a club in Greenwich Village, New York, and became his manager and brought him to England. There's actually a really nice movie about that, but I don't remember the name. Jimi Hendrix and his girlfriend Kathy moved in downstairs, and Chas Chandler and his girlfriend moved into the ground floor. It was during this time when Jimi Hendrix wrote Wind Cries Mary after an argument with Kathy about her cooking skills. Jimi and Kathy hosted several parties inviting lots of rock stars of the 60s, and of course the neighbors didn't like that so much because of the loud noise, so eventually they were forced to move out of the apartment. There's rumors that they painted the apartment black, and there's other rumors that they painted the apartment with very psychedelic colors, but apparently none of these rumors are true. There's not so many great photos of John or Ringo, but for some reason Jimi Hendrix has lots of pictures here in the apartment and outside the apartment, so I'm gonna show you some of them. After Jimi Hendrix left the flat, it was rented to Lillian Powell, the mother-in-law of John Lennon. She was Cynthia's mother. And during that time, it was really quiet around here, but it didn't last for too long. At that time, John Lennon and his wife Cynthia were living in a very nice house in Kenwood, but in May 1968, Cynthia went to Greece for a few days, and while she was on holiday, John Lennon invited Yoko Ono over to Kenwood, and when Cynthia came back, she found John and Yoko together, and she stormed out of the house, and for a while she moved into 34 Montagu Square with her mother. After that, John sued Cynthia for adultery, and Cynthia sued him right back for adultery with Yoko. After that, they kind of swapped, and Cynthia and her mother moved to Kenwood, and John and Yoko moved to 34 Montagu Square. If you want to know more about that, everything is explained in Cynthia's book, so if you haven't read it, I would say buy it. Honestly, it's a really good book, and if you want to buy it, I would say use my link there in the description, because if you buy it using my link, then Amazon's gonna give me some of the money. For you it's the same price, but it helps me a lot. So if you want to buy it, please consider using my link there. Not too long after moving in, John Lennon called Tony Bramwell, a guy who worked for Apple, their company, and asked him to bring a camera, and he thought he was going to be taking pictures of John and Yoko, but instead he was told to leave the camera and collect it a few hours later. And when he picked up the camera, he was very surprised with what he found, because there were pictures of John and Yoko completely naked, and that became the cover of the album Two Virgins. The head of EMI Records was not really pleased with this being the cover of the album, but John Lennon refused to change it, so in the end the album was sold in a brown paper bag so people couldn't see the offending content inside. One day, the police arrived to 34 Montague Square with a search warrant to search the place for drugs, and they did find drugs. John Lennon said that maybe the drugs belonged to a previous occupant of the flat, perhaps Jimi Hendrix, but almost certainly the drugs belonged to a policeman, Sergeant Norman Pilcher. He didn't like rock stars very much, and he liked planting drugs on them, so this is almost certainly what happened to John Lennon. Here we can see a picture of John Lennon getting arrested. The photo was taken by some journalists that were coincidentally outside the flat, so you know, it was probably all arranged. In court, John pleaded guilty of drugs possession so that Yoko was kept out of trouble, because she was a foreign national and she may have been deported. He was fined £500, which even at that time was not too much money for a rock star like John Lennon, but that cost him a lot of trouble later on when they moved to America, and they got heavily involved in several campaigns, like for example the campaign against the Vietnam War, or the campaign to make sure that President Nixon wasn't re-elected in 1972. Of course, Nixon didn't like this so much, and he tried to get rid of John Lennon, so he asked the FBI to go through John's criminal record, and of course they found this drug conviction, so they issued a deportation order. But John Lennon didn't want to leave America, he wanted to stay, so he kept on appealing against these deportation orders, and finally he got his green card in 1976, allowing him to stay in America.
Idiot. Idiot.
Right, I'm back in my place now. So I was doing my research for this video and I found a few things that I thought it'd be interesting to share with you before the end. So these are pictures of the flat today. We can see it's a really nice looking apartment. And I also found the floor plan. Here we can see the ground floor and the basement. And this was published in 2020. They were selling the flat for £6.5 million. What they did is combining the flat with the upstairs unit, so now it's a much bigger apartment. And I don't know if they actually sold it or not, but yeah, they were asking for £6.5 million, which is a lot of money. But to be fair, London is really expensive and this is a really nice area and the flat is gorgeous. So if I had the money, I would definitely buy it because it's a great place to live and also it has a lot of history, so that would be awesome to live in John Lennon's house. So maybe one day, if my YouTube channel takes off, who knows. And then I also found this, which is pretty messed up, but it says city worker dies after falling onto railings. And that happened right there in Montague Square. Apparently this guy was arguing with his wife in the upstairs flat and he fell onto the railings. It says firefighters had to cut through the 5-foot railings with an angle grinder before the body could be removed. This happened in 2014 and I thought it'd be interesting to mention before the end of the video. Right, so this is pretty much it for now. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also follow me on Instagram. And the most important thing is, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to this channel and maybe turning on the notifications, because that way YouTube's gonna let you know every time I upload new content, and yeah, that's gonna make me really happy as well. So thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye.
Well, I'm afraid that's us run out of time.
Oh,
I'm really
okay.
sorry.
Well,
So,
thanks.
Bye, everyone.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I give my heart to you, I must be